Diamond DeShields of the Chicago Sky clotheslined Sophie Cunningham across the face on a breakaway layup, and the referees did not hesitate to call a flagrant 2 foul, sending her straight to the locker room, while the entire United Center crowd, a Chicago crowd, started chanting Cunningham's name, and Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever dominated the entire game. But DeShields clearly wanted to make a scene, and she is now facing suspension, and we have the full breakdown coming up, including Cunningham's response, the records Clark and the Fever set, and why the WNBA is about to drop the hammer on DeShields. So do you think suspending DeShields is enough, or does she deserve a permanent ban? Let me know in the comments below. With minutes left in the first quarter, Sophie Cunningham broke free on a fast break with nothing but open floor in front of her for what should have been an easy layup and 2 points on a routine basketball play, but instead DeShields chased her down from behind.
Cunningham up ahead of the field, lays it in, plus the foul, and then Cunningham gets into the face of DiJonai Carrington right away in the aftermath.
DiJonai Carrington and Sophie Cunningham comes down, gets her right across the face, coming down trying to prevent the layup, but that is just a hard hit. That's
her left arm straight across Cunningham's face and neck, not at the ball but just at her, and Cunningham hit the floor hard and came up bleeding, yet somehow she still banked in the layup and knocked down the free throw right after. And that is the part that gets lost in all the chaos that followed. She made the shot with blood on her face. A flagrant 2 was not just a hard foul that got out of hand, as the league defines it as contact that is unnecessary and excessive, and it requires the player to be in a vulnerable position when it happens, and the referees looked at the windup on DeShields' arm, the impact across Cunningham's face, and the follow-through after contact, and decided that this checked every box, which is why it was not just a review that added a point or two but an automatic ejection the moment the officials ruled it that way. And looking at the angle of the arm, it does not look like she is contesting a shot at all, as her arm comes across horizontally at
face, coming down trying to prevent the layup, but that is just a hard hit. That's definitely going to be upgraded, I think, to a flagrant 2, Ryan.
I think that is going to be a flagrant 2. There is wind up, there is follow through, there's potential for injury.
Without
Sophie
question.
Cunningham in a vulnerable position in the air.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I mean, there's no question why Sophie Cunningham got up and took exception to that hit.
Level like a clothesline you would see on a football field and not a basketball court, with no attempt to go for the ball, no jump, and no reach toward the rim, making it a takedown plain and simple. And the officials treated Cunningham's reaction afterward as completely justified given what had just happened to her. What made the moment even wilder is where it happened, as this was Chicago's own arena, the United Center, packed with Sky fans on a Sky home game, and when DeShields got tossed and started walking toward the tunnel, the crowd started chanting Cunningham's name, not DeShields' name, and not something for the home team, but Cunningham's name in Chicago from Chicago fans. And that is not a neutral reaction but a building full of people telling DeShields she crossed a line even they would not defend. So the question becomes obvious, is this a one-time thing, a player losing control in the heat of a game, or is this just who DeShields is on the court? And rewinding back to the 2024 playoffs already provides the answer, as DeShields' hand landed directly in Caitlin Clark's eye during a first-round series between Connecticut and Indiana, leaving Clark with a visible black eye that lasted for days, with no foul called on that play at all, and DeShields later claimed she had no idea how her hand even ended up there, and that eye poke was not a one-off either, as in 2025 alone DeShields grabbed Sarah Ashley Barker by the ponytail and yanked her straight down to the floor during a live play, and she undercut Skylar Diggins on a fast break in a way that drew its own flagrant foul, and she even hurt her own teammate Paige Buchers while trying to foul someone else on a different possession, with 3 different incidents across 3 different games, every single one showing the same lack of control around other players' bodies. So when people call the flagrant on Cunningham an overreaction, that is not really what happened here, as the league finally caught up to a pattern that had been building for over a year across 2 different teams against her own teammates and her opponents alike. The wildest part is that the ejection was not even the worst thing DeShields did that night, as what she posted online minutes later turned a basketball foul into something much bigger. And
as everyone else is seeing this angle, I'm calling her in And I'm saying to her, I need answers.
DeShields would at least stay quiet after getting tossed, maybe apologize later or just let the flagrant speak for itself. But instead, from the locker room, still in the middle of the game, she posted white privilege on Threads and tagged the Fever's own account directly, and then on Twitter she followed it up with August 23rd, the date of the next matchup between the Sky and the Fever, with 2 posts minutes apart. And basketball fans everywhere started screenshotting both of.
There was a little wind up there and there was some follow through. This will probably get upgraded. Now Carrington was trying to make a play on the ball, but by rule, the wind up and follow through are trigger signals for the officials that this will likely get upgraded.
Absolutely dirty, reckless abandon.
Then before the game had even ended, and the spread was instant as basketball media accounts picked it up within minutes and fan pages reposted it, and the August 23rd post especially got read by a lot of people as something closer to a threat than a schedule reminder. And this was not some slow burn story that built over a day but caught fire while the game clock was still running, and neutral fans with no particular loyalty to the Fever or the Sky reacted almost the same way, because
for the basketball, she basically reached around Shepard's body, but the fact that she went for the basketball and for the block really,
It's a basketball play.
Yeah, it is, and she ends up getting Shepard in the face, the nose. I don't know which takes precedent. Oh, see, it's the hit the ball and then it's the pull back. They're showing it on the Jumbotron at a different angle that sort of looked like, watch after Carrington goes for the block, watch her pull back right here, and that's the part that I don't know if you separate that.
dangerous foul just happened on national television, and instead of owning it, DeShields reached for a racial argument that had nothing to do with the play itself, and a lot of people pointed out that Cunningham got ejected for something similar the year before and never played any card at all but just accepted the ejection, so the white privilege framing did not land as an explanation but as a distraction from a clothesline. Now compare that to how Caitlin Clark handled her own controversy in the very same game, as in the third quarter Clark drove to the basket, got bumped off balance by Natasha Cloud, stumbled out of bounds, and brushed into referee Genesis Perrimont while trying to catch herself, and the official called a technical foul claiming Clark had intentionally shoved the official and used a forearm, which is not close to what actually happened on the replay, and Clark threw her hands up and asked for what? Because there was nothing intentional about falling out of bounds after getting hit by a defender, and that technical was one of the worst calls of the season, and Coach Stephanie White said so without holding back afterward as she got her own technical for yelling that is bullshit, and later joked in the press conference that she had heard the F word all game long from everyone else but her technical was the one that mattered, and White called the whole situation what it was, a bad call.
Carrington goes to the locker room and tweets out, white privilege. Then, DiJonai Carrington tweets 8:23. Seems like a threat to me. Seems like a threat to me. Sophie Cunningham said what she said. Quote, I said what I said. And these ladies in the WNBA, if I can call them that, I don't know what they all identify as, but these ladies in the WNBA, it's open season on her.
Made on a player who lost her balance from contact she did not start. Here is where the league's response gets interesting, as the Fever's front office appealed the call almost immediately, and within 2 hours and 20 minutes of the final buzzer the WNBA rescinded Clark's technical completely, and Clark had actually told ESPN's Holly right after the game that she would see her on Tuesday, like she already knew the league would fix it. So think about the timeline here, a questionable technical on Clark gets reviewed and reversed in about 2 hours, while DeShields' post, which is a lot more serious since it drags race into a dangerous on-court incident, just sits out there unaddressed, spreading across the internet with no real response from the Sky, and Coach Tyler Marsh got asked about it after the game and said he was just now hearing about that and had nothing else to add, and that gap, quick justice for Clark and silence for DeShields, is exactly what turned one flagrant foul into a.
And I am 99.9% sure the only person that walked into that building with an inkling that something was going to happen, that DiJonai was going to try to clout chase, that Natasha Harron was going to try to clout chase, the only person with enough brains and enough maybe street sense, street smart, was Sophie Cunningham. She's probably the only one that walked into that building knowing this might get left, and leave it up to DiJonai Carrington. Yeah, it went left.
story that would not die down, and it is also exactly the kind of gap that makes suspensions happen with all that noise going on, the ejection, the posts, and the technical foul drama. What was actually happening on the scoreboard? Turns out the Fever were just quietly taking over the game the entire time, as Indiana jumped out on an 8-0 run to start the game with 6 of those points coming from Aaliyah Boston, and they never really let go of the lead after that, even with DeShields getting.
So clearly was a foul, was not called.
Oh, she didn't even say anything. Was it just because she bumped into the official?
She really had been focused on trying to avoid getting that next technical. And now Stephanie White gets one as well.
Caitlin was frustrated that she did not have a foul called on the defender.
Toss late in the first quarter, Chicago actually led 23-22 after 1, so the ejection did not hand anything easy, but it was the second quarter where the Fever separated by outscoring the Sky 31-19 and turning a close game into an 11-point lead at the half, 53-42, and Clark alone scored 12 points in that second quarter. And you could see the offense clicking the way it is supposed to when nobody is worried about who is chirping on the other bench, and Clark finished with 26 points and 11.
Technical foul. I know that can lead to another suspension. What are your thoughts on what happened?
She said I ran into her. I've already watched it on the tape, so we'll let the league decide. But it wasn't intentional or anything. So I'm hoping, Holly. I'll see
and
you
nothing
in the
was
New York
said.
game.
Nothing was said.
I'll see you on Tuesday.
Okay, you heard it here first.
All right.
Shooting 7 of 15 from the field and knocking down 5 of her 6 3-point attempts, and that combination of 25 or more points paired with 10 or more assists is rare for a reason, because it means you are scoring at a high level and setting up your teammates at the same time, and this was her 8th career game hitting that mark. And here is the part that is actually hard to believe. The rest of WNBA history combined has only 4 games like it, not 4 players but 4 games total from every other player who has ever stepped on a WNBA court, and Clark has already passed that number twice over on her own, and she is 4th in the league in 3-point percentage and 2nd in the league in scoring, and Kelsey Mitchell matched her scoring punch for punch by dropping 27 points on 11 of 22 shooting, extending her streak to 16 straight games scoring 20 or more points and breaking Aya Wilson's old record of 15 in a row, and nobody in WNBA history has ever scored at that level for that.
Including on the glass.
Clark stuck in the corner, step back 3 is good. Caitlin Clark without a lot of space, able to ring in a tray. Here's Michaela Timpson finding Boston for the easy lay.
Wow, Michaela Timpson, she gets the steal.
One season, and Mitchell is doing it right now game after game without a single letdown night, and Aaliyah Boston kept doing what she always does by grinding out a double-double with 13 points and 11 rebounds on efficient 6 of 8 shooting, adding 3 assists and 2 blocks for good measure, and she scored 10 of those points in the first quarter alone. And her ability to hold the paint against Chicago's bigs kept the Fever's defense organized while everything else around her got chaotic, and Michaela Timpson, making just her 2nd career start after getting the nod over Monique Billings, added 10 points on 5 of 7 shooting with 3 rebounds and 3 assists in 31 minutes, and the new starting lineup was a plus 16 before halftime, which tells you Timpson was not just filling a role but actively helping the group win minutes. And Indiana shot 51% from the field for the game and controlled tempo the way a veteran team does, not a team that just watched one of its own.
Second half for them. Sheldon staying on the floor. Clark a deep one. Wow! Clark able to bury the bomb. Clark a deep launch. Too much on it. No! The bank is open in the friendly confines of United Center for Caitlin Clark.
The face, and Chicago shot 46% and actually matched Indiana's 3-point percentage at 41%, but the turnovers and the emotional swings kept them from ever fully seizing control. Even when they cut the lead to 66-59 in the third on a 9-0 run, Clark answered that run with a 3 of her own to push it back to 10, and even when JCS Sheldon hit a 3 to make it 89-86 with 28 seconds left, Clark calmly knocked down a free throw to close it out, and the final score was 90-86, the Fever's 20th win of the season, and Clark, Mitchell, and Boston combined for 66 of Indiana's 90 points that night, and Clark and Mitchell became just the second duo in WNBA history to both score 25+ in the same game, and that is not luck, and it is not a team that got rattled by chaos but a roster that is built to handle it.
She is 4th in the league in three-point percentage, 2nd in the league in scoring. And there she is, getting free, cutting and finishing.
Sophie Cunningham just got hit across the face on national television, so what does she actually say when the cameras finally turn on her? Not a rant, not a call out, nothing close to what DeShields posted online, as she sat down at that podium calm and almost bored by the whole thing, and that is exactly what made her answer land so hard. Because reporters walked into that press conference already knowing about the white privilege post and were waiting to see if Cunningham would take the bait.
Here is Clark, looking for Boston, finding her wide open for the lay.
Or shut it down, and she did not hesitate. She called the foul unnecessary and intentional, then added that she has never really spoken to DeShields and has no beef with her, but guessed she has some pent-up stuff, and she said to get her exploitation off because she can take it, with no yelling and no finger-pointing, just a flat statement of fact from someone who had clearly already moved on before the question finished, and then she went straight at the race angle and closed the door on it.
To them over the last couple minutes, Mitchell snares it away from Vandersloot. Here's Mitchell. Oh, what a pass! Timpson the finish on the delectable dime from Kelsey Mitchell.
Mitchell gets in. She can just feel that Timpson is there. How about that? Wow. Left hand over the shoulder pass. She doesn't even look. She just feels that her teammate is there. Spectacular.
To do with race, and that last year she did the same thing and got kicked out and deserved to be kicked out, and that there is no reason even to play that card. And that line matters because Cunningham is not talking theory but talking about her own Flagrant 2 ejection from June on JCS Sheldon, which she owned completely at the time. And she is not lecturing DeShields from some position of innocence but speaking as someone who has been ejected for the same type of play and took the consequences without excuses, and an angry rant from Cunningham would have just fed the story another day of headlines. But instead she went dismissive, and dismissive is harder to argue with than outrage, and she added that DeShields was not even on the team last year when all that was going on, and pointed out that people just want attention when they play a nationally televised fever game, and calling it what it is, attention-seeking, strips away any argument that this was about basketball or history between the two players at all, and teammates backed that red without needing to say much, as Michaela Timpson had already pulled Cunningham away from DeShields in the moment and explained afterward that she got her teammate back always so just to get out of the way, and fans online treated Cunningham's presser as the final word, clipping it and passing it around as the moment the story got settled for good.
Indiana bench wanted a 5-second violation there. Clark comes up with a steal. Here is Clark laying it up and in.
The league's review process moved fast on the flagrant classification itself, since the criteria for unnecessary and excessive contact on a vulnerable player were already met on the court, and reporters covering the team, including Scott Agnes of Fieldhouse Files, pointed straight at what came after the ejection by saying they have to consider what she did afterward when she went back to the locker room and got on social media, and a pattern of dangerous plays, the eye poke, the ponytail pull.
Now, I will say this. We're in Chicago. Sophie Cunningham wasn't really getting booed in Chicago. Sophie Cunningham not getting booed every time she touches the ball shows how crazy the fans in Portland, Seattle, and Minnesota truly
cut on Diggins, now stacked with a public post dragging race into a dangerous foul, makes supplemental discipline a lot more likely, and Chicago's coach Tyler Marsh had defended the foul itself in the moment but then went quiet the second reporters brought up the post, saying he was just now hearing about that, and no statement followed from the Sky organization at all. But compare that silence to Indiana's locker room, which was confident, already talking about the next game, and
Sophie right after. What was your view of the play, and why did you choose to do that?
I mean, just to protect her. That's it. You know, I got my teammate back always, so just to get out of the way.
Already moving forward with a signature win despite getting physically attacked on their own fast break, with DeShields sitting there waiting on a league decision while the Fever already have their story written, as Indiana won the game 90-86 and won the other fight too, the one that actually mattered more, and DeShields threw the punch and threw the tantrum online, while Cunningham answered with a shrug that said more than any rant could, and Clark, Mitchell, and Boston just proved they can play through an ejection, a bad technical, and a social media firestorm, and still put up up a signature win, so picture that core in the 2026 playoffs with this kind of poise already built in. Keep backing Clark, keep backing Cunningham, keep backing this Fever team, and keep calling out every cheap shot thrown their way. So do you think suspending DeShields is enough, or does she deserve a permanent ban? Let me know in the comments below, and do not forget to like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications as we bring you all the action and top stories, and click the video on the screen, and we will see you in the next one.